Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on a financial app called Fiume, and we've got streams of income working, like your salary or an annuity or your house payment, but we haven't yet got pools of money working, assets and liabilities. We have basically you can enter them, but we don't include them in our net worth scenarios. So we want to do that today. And then I don't think that's going to take too long. And this is my only day this week. So I thought the rest of the time we'd explore a couple of ideas around things to make the tests run faster. Now, it probably makes sense to do those in the other order, but I want to make sure net worth gets done this week. So we'll tackle it in that order. I don't think it's a big job. All right, let's go back up here. So, scenarios with pools. Yeah. Let's see if I can. Well, I'll kick off a run while we look around. So we let you add pools in scenario, in your plans. We have a pool view that you can edit or create with. So that part's done. But when you go to say how much are you actually worth, that part is not. All right, now, why? There we go. Oh, to-do violation. Okay. Yeah, we started working on a test. So we want to make sure that pools get accumulated along with streams. Okay, so we have a pool plus stream kind of scenario. We have an asset savings, $1,000, and income job, $1. And we're going to add the asset, and then we're going to add the income. And then we're going to ask the scenario's net worth across a couple months. Okay, and so we didn't do the assertions or the expects. Okay, but we expect, well, I think result is an array of our net worth monthly, whatever they are. Let's see. Whoops. Came in. Scenario net worth. Okay, let's go there. Okay, that's defined here. Yeah, so this thing has net worth by month with an array of months, basically. Monthly net worth, and we can ask the amount. Okay, so result dot net worth by month sub dot no sub I dot amount. Amount should be equal to, well, in the first month, we're starting basically unchanged, means start with, the whole range. So the first month, January, we'll have $1,000 in savings, and we'll earn $1 in income. And then the second month, we'll still have $1,000 in savings, but since we haven't spent anything, we'll have $1,002. Now, apparently only 4 needed. Okay, to do violation. Good. Okay, whoops, I lost my, there we go. Welcome, Mudshark. Oh, and I've got, not sure what was going on there. All right, so this test we have not run or failed. Well, I guess I had no asserts, it didn't do anything. And I expect we'll get 1 and 2 back because we take care of income, but we don't include pooled assets in. Back over here. And this is one of these slow things for us, right? It's bringing up the whole UI. Even though we're not doing a lot, but we're probably we're uploading saved stuff. Okay. We got 1, we expect 1,001. We got 2 and 1,002. Okay, so at least that signals maybe I know what I'm doing a little bit. All right, now this class scenario, basically the key thing is it's calculating the net worth for a given range. Now, it's doing this, basically it's populating this monthly net worth array. Okay, and so when you calculate the running total, that's your accumulation across your income and expenses. Now I think it would be worth pulling this out as a variable. And I don't know the right name, but the problem we have is we're calling net income, but we don't call net assets. And I think I want to explicitly make this net. No. I thought I had variable there. Maybe I had rename. Okay, I'm going to say this is net income for month. Okay, and we don't need the declaration. I think we'll know. All right, and then let's see. Did we test this? I think we did. Values. Well, the way things are now, okay, so right now, net assets at a month. No, I guess that is legit to calculate that. I was thinking you could just calculate it once and it applies for everything, but we let you do things like inherit Uncle Moneybags money in 2026 or whatever. All right, but I am worried about this. I thought we maybe tested it, but I can't quite remember. Good. Okay, so we did. All right, well, that's a good sign. Okay, so now I want to calculate net assets at month. And that is net assets at month year. Okay. And then let's say net worth at month equals net income plus net assets. So you see, I'm wanting it to read like an accountant's explanation. Okay. Now the running total. Okay, only updates with that. All right, but I think So I'm saying this wrong then. Okay, so maybe I should move this down too. Okay, so your net income for the month is 1 month's worth of stuff, but we add it to, let's call this net income to date. Okay, so net income for a month, add to the existing income to date, that gets you the net income to date. And then net assets at month, net worth at month should be net income to date plus that, and then this is net worth at month. Okay, let's read it again. Okay, so net income to date starts off 0, and then we add our net income for each month, and then accumulate that to net income to date. Net assets to month is this month's, net worth is net income to date. That's accumulation of all your income so far minus expenses so far, plus whatever your net assets are. All right, and then that's what we are going to now return. Okay. Run tests. It's a tiny bit trickier than I thought, but it's not that much worse. All right. So I don't know. The thing I'm thinking is, like, does it make sense to split this? But really, the net worth. Sorry, the net income to date. Because your assets are whatever your assets are. They don't accumulate. Whatever you say you own on a given date is what we count for that. All right. I think that's good. I'm not sure what I'm holding back on. Maybe just the complexity of this is just a touch high. And also I'll say, we have other, your net worth is all your money, whatever you have for money minus whatever you've paid so far for expenses is your net worth. So it subtracts off your mortgage, it counts against you and stuff like that. But we could do another analysis that's more like, what are your positive values for this month and what are your negative values for this month? And there, it might even be interesting to split out your assets versus liabilities and your income versus expenses. I can imagine that. Should keep the assets as a separate property. Well, I think not, because your net worth is this sort of accumulated total. It's sort of if you put things in one number, like, what are you worth? Are you a millionaire? Well, that's asking about your net worth, at a given time. And we're accumulating for each month, get your net worth. And then the scenario net worth is the overall, the list of all your monthly net worths. So let's run. I don't know what we have for, well, we have one asset, or we have some expense, one or more incomes, because it was a line going up. All right, so let's see this thing. Okay, so we got salary and savings. Oh dear. Oh no, it is raised. You can't see it very much because we don't have much savings relative to the much, but there's a gap here. 1/10 this size because it's only $20,000 of savings against 750,000 if you earn this much and don't expend anything. Yeah, it depends what you want to display on the graph. I could see. Well, maybe this goes back to possibilities. Oh, let me check it in before I get too florid here. Okay, so make net worth include the value of the current assets. All right. And commit and push. Okay. Get back to possibilities here. Okay, so this stuff, I mean, I honestly, I really probably should pull it out. Hey, what are you doing in there? Okay. This is really the analysis of your possibilities, or I think that used to be called plans. Okay. I don't know if I'm not sure which is the right word for it, but it's the bottom half here, the setup you make, that includes income, expenses, assets, liabilities, but also can include multiple scenarios, like I'm going to start collecting Social Security at this age or whatever. And the top half is the graph of that. Okay, and so possibilities gives you a bunch of scenarios, generates, I guess I would say generates, the possibilities on the bottom half generates a bunch of individual scenarios that's really like combinations. If we have scenario objects, one with 3 possibilities, one with 4 possibilities, the plan or the possibilities lays out, a set of 3 possibilities and a set of 4 possibilities. And then when we calculate the scenarios, that turns into 12 scenarios. So 3 times 4. And in our graph, it becomes 12 lines. And each line is built on this information, which is really just the net worth. I mean, this value here is just net worth. Now, I think if well, I don't have a picture of that other one, but maybe you've seen it. It's got your assets. There's a line for 0, and your assets and income is above the line in green, and your liabilities and expenses are below the line in red or pink. And usually there's a 0 mark, and then usually we'll put another mark. If your expenses are less than your income, you'll get another mark that shows where your actual net worth is. So it's a more sophisticated graph. It's basically a generalization of this, but if we put little lines, well, no. Yeah, it's a variant of some sort. The lines don't go up like this. That would be showing up in lines off the 0. So this gives you your monthly pattern, and so you can see if you have a month where your income is lower than your expenses, well, that's another one. This one often is done with no assets involved, just your income and expenses, and then you can see, did I save or spend this month? And if your line, your little marker line subtracting them goes below 0, then you've outspent your month. You've presumably drawn on savings or borrowed or something. Okay. But this data structure is not able to do that. It's customized to the computation of net worth. Now, maybe, like, I think I don't know if I have it on the to-do, but no, I really don't. Okay, scenarios with pools, so we've done that. Let's move that down. Allow. Well, calendar view would be interesting. Well, another summary view is net income for by month. Okay. And that just sort of shows you, am I dipping into savings, or am I climbing out, or am I safely in savings, or what? It's definitely been on my mind to have that view wherever it is. And even this, yeah. And I don't know. It's kind of a summary, but the computation of saying what's my net worth, like this, instead of saving net worth, we could save these computed quantities, the net income for the month, maybe even split this up. What are my net expenses? What are my net income? What are my net expenses? What are my net assets? What are my net liabilities? Um, and only include the positive ones in your net income, and or total income, I guess you'd say. I always mix these up a little bit, but I think your total income, if I want to say my total income, meaning the total of all my incomes, and total expenses, meaning the total of all my expenses, my net income is the difference of those two. And so I could store those four quantities instead of the net worth, and I could even calculate this, well, later, or I could calculate this now, but have those four quantities. So yeah, different graphs might want different things. Now, I don't have in mind a whole lot of graphs. I mean, I'm thinking like a company's annual report, right? You put out, well, you get three reports. I can't remember, or three tables. One's definitely assets minus liabilities. One, some sort of statement of expenses, and I don't remember the other. But whatever those standard reports are, business wise, they're still sort of reasonable for you as a person. It's like, am I making money compared to last year, or losing money? Those kind of things. All right. So, I mean, I think this is at an okay point, but I could see this moving. Well, I'm not sure who should do the calculations. Like, I could see this just collecting the data for us, and then maybe there's a separate sort of report generator that decides what to actually do with all that data. But it just needs to know, does it need the individual incomes and expenses? No, I don't think it does. From a report point of view, we're the sum of those, each of those is probably as much as we would do. Okay. I'm just looking at things. The other one, there's still there's something, a decision early on that I don't know if it's the right one or not still, but it's reflected in this. It says, if you use the same name twice, we treat it as an override. And I don't know, we have a mechanism for that. This is part of it. When you add a new stream, we figure out what's the overridden value. It has multiple fields. Some of them might be overridden, some of them might be shining through the old ones. And I don't know, as this on the bottom is getting more complicated, like, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out what's realistic for a person. But you have, if you have both spouses working, two spouses both working, you probably have two salaries, maybe three, maybe four. You have savings, maybe one or maybe two. Some people break out like vacation savings and stuff like that. Each of you has at least one and maybe more retirement accounts, we hope. I don't know. Like, I know I have my own XP123 as my company, and then I have my other 401k earnings that are from previous employers. And then, my wife has a pension from one of her employers that'll keep her in coffee at least, um, in her 401k and whatever. It's like it adds up after a while. But I've said before, I think 50 would be a lot and 100 would be really a lot. If you've got 100 major sources of income and savings and whatnot, you're probably not going to use this. I mentioned my brother's my customer and I'll use it, and that's probably two of us. Maybe a little more family members or a friend or something, but this is not going to be a full-blown financial app. And the people who have major things beyond that really don't want me. They want, I don't know. You plug in your favorite financial advisor thing. All right. But yeah, so anyway, I think this monthly net worth is an adequate calculation. I could see pulling it out that this net, instead of net worth, we do sort of a monthly net activity or something, and we populate something that distinguishes our pools, our streams, the positives, the negatives, and then by simple combinations of those, you can get interesting things. Okay, so you could do, incomes minus expenses month by month and show the net of that, not your total net worth, but just on my monthly spending, how did I do? You could do net worth. You might be able to do a couple other interesting things. It might be interesting to see your month by month, including your assets. I don't know. It might be overwhelming. Presumably your assets get bigger than your income at some point, I hope. All right. Good. So I guess we're just ready to move on. All right. So John Reed has talked a little and explored a little about trying to make the launch faster. And then I also ran across, it was really this one, a Stack Overflow article about how to disable the simulator. And somebody proposed a different approach. That they proposed this approach, but they also somebody proposed putting things in frameworks and claimed that the framework does not run the simulator. Framework testing does not run the simulator. Now, let's see. Let me find the... Okay, here's John's. Okay, and so John's basically saying your normal app startup, you've got a main, you've got an app, it creates a scene with a window group, and the content view is your window. And this is just sort of like if you just generate a new project, this is your default, I guess. And then the proposed solution is basically only show your content if you're running in production. And we know you're not in production if we try and load XC test case and it shows up. So it means something, something's using test case. Well, what is it? Well, it's tests. We put them in a separate project. Yeah, make the logic into a framework that's UI agnostic. I think that's the thing that has not been done in here. So here's somebody asking to do that. And this first answer he got, put all my business and unit tests into a framework. That rings a bell for me, like, why would you put your tests in that framework? But okay. Xcode tests a framework without loading the app target, so the simulator is not involved. Okay, what do you mean by framework? Okay, he's got a tech note. I got that link over here. I tried it. I put a framework in my workspace, but then running the framework still loads the UI. My workspace also has a UI project. I think that's almost certainly what the problem is, like you're saying. Nobody seems to do this. Okay. But I think what Mudshark is saying is make the logic into a framework that's UI agnostic. That might actually work. So let's look at our files. Okay. And so, let me... I deleted that Swift data call. I hope nothing's using Swift data anymore. But what I would see is, here's these views. Well, they're definitely totally UI view. I'm afraid we have UI view mentioned in something else here I thought we did, but ideally we're wrong. Oh, is charts is maybe a UI thing. might bring in Swift UI. Yes. Okay. So we would not be able to include. Oh well, that sucks. Month year for us. Okay. Why do we have charts in there? Where's month year? Comparable, custom string convertible, equatable, codable, stridable, plottable. Okay. Now, what's not clear to me, could I move just this extension out into like the view stuff and then build the framework without it, include charts to get this? Let's try that as a step in this. Okay, so let's make a new file. Month, year plus plottable. Okay. And we'll do this. But we need to import charts. And foundation. Okay. I'm going to keep walking through while he's starting up. Okay, that wasn't so terrible either. All right, so we extract the well, let's call it extract month year colon plottable extension to the view folder. Okay. And let me keep going through. We did month year. Let's look at people. I think that, oh, it's observable. Oh, that seems pretty critical. And you can't put that on later. I tried that once. I don't think I can get by without it. It's not in foundation, is it? Oh, it is. I think this is probably the same problem. Oh, I don't even think it's referenced there anymore. I think maybe when we maybe we had this one observable at some point. I don't think so. I can't remember. Okay, well, that's good. Plan. Oh, I kept saying possibilities was plans, but I guess not. I guess possibilities generate plans. Okay. Foundation, good. Foundation. I wonder if this is this really pulling its weight. I mean, it's the thing that knows which of these is active because of the type, I guess. All right. Okay. I'm surprised it doesn't warn about that. Okay, I'm probably jumping ahead because we were really talking about doing something more like this. Okay, what if you have custom startup code? Right, and that describes us, right? Because we load our stuff at a startup. Let's find that. Fiume app. Okay, so yeah, right, here we are. We open plans and people at this point. Okay. So that implies we need the normal Swift UI. We got to bypass it. We don't want persistent data. Okay. In a non-Swift UI app launch, I set up a separate entry point and use in as class from string to dynamically search for a testing app delegate. Yikes. Okay. Thorough solution. Let's remove main from production app. Create another entry point. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely going to be less work. No, it will. The other one we had to figure out frameworks and which pieces go in which and how does it really do what it said it would and other people thought it didn't, and it's worth the experiment. I think we'll have time today to try it, but if we walked away and John's theory worked for what John's does with a quicker startup, still starts the simulator but it's not doing any loading, so it's faster. Okay, so he says create this. I'm going to take this off here. All right, and then this is Fiume app. Dot main. Does he have a main? Now I'm confused. Okay. Okay. It will run any static function main. Let's remove main from production app. Then create another struct named entry point. This defines a main that calls production app. We never declared it, but it exists. Oh, okay. Run the app and confirm it's normal. Yeah, that's a good thing. As a Swift data import in Fiume app. Ooh, you're right. Types to use only for hosting statics. Really? You want an enum there? Okay, well that ran. I don't know if enum will work or not. But yeah, I mean, that is a thing. Enum seems like a weird, I don't know, like why should it be an enum instead of a class, right? That sounds like a coincidence to me. I'm not sure why it. And what's the objection? It's like somebody's paying. If you actually created an object, you would pay for it. We'll try it with an enum. Yeah, it's only got a static method, so it has no fields and no class level methods. But yet we're creating an initializer because it could create something, but nobody does. So I don't know. It's probably doing this, which I consider somewhat confusing. But okay. But yeah, it's because the only function in it is static. If it only had static fields and or static functions, they recommend that. I feel like it's probably not worth the weight and complexity to save you 4 bytes that nobody calls anyway, but whatever it is. Okay. All right. So that's phase 1. Okay. Now we're going to create. Okay. So now we're going to call test app.main. Okay, so we need a test app, which is an empty thing. All right. I don't know. I'm putting all these in the same thing. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm trying to get future me coming into this and trying to figure out what's going on at startup. I think we'll appreciate having everything in one, but I may be wrong. Okay, and then we're going to modify the main function. If it's production, we'll call test app. Otherwise, we'll call, well, Fiume in our case. Okay. We'll highlight static main. Okay, so if it's production, I don't think that's, I would rather say if it's run test app, else that. Maybe I shouldn't be editing before I do this, but okay, NC class from string test case is nil. I'm backwards. Having the test part of the code in if diffs. All right, if it's production, run production, which is Fiume. App.main. And test app is an app. Okay. All right, let's run this. And that, can we tell it compile time if it's got it? Okay, well that's running the normal thing, fine. All right, let's run tests. And we'll probably see it start up, but it hopefully won't draw the big line and all that. And this is probably one worth the comment here. If I had a little more patience, I probably... Okay. Let's run it again, and this time I'll watch it instead of getting distracted by the squirrels. Okay, open as a white screen. Never put up a graph. Okay, I think that is a good sign. And I didn't time it to myself, but 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. 5 seconds is much better than the 20-ish or so we were getting. Although we've had a lot of variety in the test run. Sometimes they are pretty quick. They always tell us it's 0.06, and I know it's not... That's definitely not wall clock time. Okay, so let's commit this. I think this is John's approach. Use John Reed's approach to avoid full app startup on unit testing. Note that it checks for XC test case. So if we committed to full Swift testing with no XC test runner, we'd have to do a little bit of work. Yeah, I think that's right. It puts it in, it actually runs it, but because it's got that test startup, it really just creates the scene, creates the window group and all that stuff. Let me look at this one. Creates these things, but there's nothing in it. So your content view doesn't get called. Your initialization doesn't get called. And tests are not relying on this stuff being read in and so on. Okay. I think that formatting, yeah. I got 8 seconds there. All right. Okay. So I think we're in a good place to try this other thing now. Let's see what it says. Because we did something like that with EG test, I think. Didn't we make that into some sort of framework or something? I don't remember. Right, and it creates grief for you. I do remember that much. Right, okay, and there's issues around dependencies between frameworks. Umbrella frameworks are not supported on some of these. You should include your code in a single standard framework bundle. Okay, I'm not getting around installing the app. Yeah, that's the goal of this one. So this, let's see, was it Matt said he gets it to test without loading the app target, so no simulator involved. Other people said they didn't see that, but they also have a UI project, which we're pretty clear is not going to help. Now, I don't know. Scaffolding. That's okay. I think we are not, none of these objects, we don't do any UI testing at this point. Everything iPad specific needs to be outside the framework. I know we did something iPad specific, but I think it was one of the view things. Because it does something in the Mac one probably, but oh, that was it. We used some iPad specific thing that the Mac couldn't use. Right. Okay. Persistence. Yeah. Where's our persistence? That's separate. Okay. So my proposed plan of action is, I believe the model stuff could be a framework. Now, I don't know, there's cost to this for sure. What I remember is, like, if you change things, we have to rebuild the framework as well as relink everything. The framework is more, it's nicer when you know everything's going to be safe, or, it's some other application. It's not going to change all the time. Like, what have we touched today? Scenario and already, All right. So let me go back to this and actually kind of semi-read it. Okay. To create a framework, we've got to create a framework template target in the same project or a separate Xcode project. I really don't want a separate Xcode project. The framework target will be added to the same project. Okay. Create a new Xcode target. Select the framework template for your target platform. Add all the framework files to the new target's compile build phase. Set the visibility of header files to public. Oh yeah, we screwed that one up. Header files doesn't apply to us, but I remember messing that up in the test framework all the time. Add public headers. We don't really do that. Configure your project. Okay. Yeah, let's try it. I'm not quite convinced it's going to be worth it, but we can back out if we need to. So hit in this framework. I don't see framework. Is that only in? Is it a different kind of new? Package? That's not what they said, is it? Create a new Xcode target. New file, new group. Is that here? Or here? Okay, let's create a new target. Okay, a framework. Product name. Embed in Fiume. Okay, this is the Fiume. Is it model? Fiume.model? Okay. We had that before. And we didn't have plain old Mac. Okay. I'm not going to worry about Vision OS. Okay. Create a new target. Add all the framework source files to the new target's compile sources build phase. Can I just drag in this? No. Is there a way to do this? Let's try some option clicking. No. Plan. I don't see a sort button. We don't have header files. Before embedding a project, set up your framework so it depends on the framework target. Now, I don't know if that means we should be taking these out of here, I think. Static, I don't know. I don't even know how to tell which I've created here. I thought it said it was a dynamic library. Yeah, framework encapsulates a dynamic library. I mean, I'm sure a static library would be faster at some level. I mean, I assume it has less overhead for static stuff, but I think we'll go with this. Okay. One Xcode project can go to embedding a framework. Only iMessage apps. Okay. Go to the app's target. Okay, so I'm going to interpret that as saying I should take out these, everything in model. These aren't alphabetical either. That's pretty annoying. Money was in model. Plan. People. Okay, I don't think I have any models left. Okay. Go to the apps. Why is it an embedded? Add icon highlighted, do not drag in the framework. Okay, so back in here, is that in general? Target, embedded binaries. Well, it embedded that for me. It's a little different looking. It must be a slightly older version. But it looks like it embedded it based on something. Stack library link to compile. Oh, interesting. Oh, builds faster but runs slower. Okay. That's okay. It's not going to matter in the context of, loading a persistence table from JSON, Okay, so I think that implies to me that our total target is depending on the Fiume model. Now, I think that also means Fiume tests should depend on that. Right? Okay, let's run tests. And I think they'll complain because they shouldn't be able to find they don't have a reference to that framework. Okay, and that, oh, now that's not so good. And the error goes away. Are you going to go away? Okay. Are they really gone? Age selector. Cannot find type in scope. Okay, now that may be, and I think I said this before about this, none of these are public. That's not really true. We'll get them in and then straighten them out. Okay, that does sound. I guess I should go in order. I don't know about these. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good idea too. Months, year, and people. Okay. I don't know if I should get the habit of declaring stuff public in the first place. That probably would be wise. Okay. All right. Let's build that. Okay, I'm going to just take a break a little early. I'll be back in 3 or 4 minutes. All right, welcome back. If a method isn't intended to be called from outside the app, I don't think this should be public. The only methods that really need to be public are the ones used by production code. Tests should probably be in the same package as the framework. They don't need the functions to be public. Well, if they're in the same package, they're probably okay, right? But I'm not sure what's going on here. Import Fiume model. Okay. No extension access modifiers. Fiume model. And just so I don't get the complaint. Oh no. Plans. Oh. Cannot find money as go. Previews are different from any decoder. Well, that doesn't sound right. Let's get the import straight and then Gen is inaccessible. Oh, where is that month year? Okay. Oh, I put it alphabetical there. Good. But not there. Yeah, clean build once we get these things imported. I mean, so far it's not doing anything for me. um, and you're right, I may be messing up tests in a way that I have to fix it to. Cannot find plan. Import. This is weird. Yeah, it's like the preview is not getting access to things. Plan. Name is inaccessible. Oh, I guess he's got to be public. Does the main tab need to have Fiume model in the target membership? I think the regular target does. Right. So Fiume target has the dependency. So I think indirectly it should have it. Let's see what's going on here still. Out of this missing from, that's not a good sign to me. That should go away. Missing argument from. Pool first. Public init, public amount. I don't know. Who has description? Oh. Oh, I didn't make that public. Didn't think I had to. Okay, let's do another. Well, let's just try to build with what we got, and then we'll do a clean build. Maybe. Switch covers known cases. I don't know what to do here. That's nerves. I think you should just wake up. Cannot find type plans in scope. I did make that public, right? Public class, public envelope of everything. Okay. Can't tell if they're going away or not. Now those somewhat. Poor Fiume model. Okay, let's do that clean build. We haven't tried our test yet. That'll be another disaster in the making. Build. No, some of that looked legit. Private id. What is this? Content view. All right, let's go back to this. Well, I'm not feeling the love yet here. Okay, so this does have Fiume in it. Does it have the app? Yes. So the project well, somewhere it must have. Now I wouldn't have thought that goes in there. But I guess it's got to be. Okay, it's in here, but it's not in here. Hey, Tooks, welcome. We're trying a thing to speed up our startup time by getting, like the way it is now when it runs the tests, it runs the simulator and then uses, I guess, that launch to run the tests in there. Historically, the simulator would start up our app, which like checks the environment and loads some files and stuff that we don't want happening during the tests. And so it would take all that time, several seconds to load it, and then run the unit tests. We put in something. Let's get there. You can tell we're doing something else now. We put in this approach that John Reed, he's went and searched for and found somebody's solution and publicized that and credited. But basically, you have your main entry point, and you only call that if you're in production, and if you're not, you call this test entry point. Now the main one, like you can see, we're doing it init with some persistent open files, but the test one just creates an empty, doesn't even have a content view. Well, I mean, I don't want to keep my eye plugged in for development all the time, I guess. But even there, right, it's running the tests in the context of starting up the app. So I don't think it matters, even if it was running the real, like I'm running on my iPad, right, it would still have to install the app into my iPad, kick off the app, and doing that would run persistence things that take a while. So It would save the startup time of kicking off a simulator, but I'm not really sure if it takes. I mean, as far as I can tell, it's running the same simulator. This iPad simulator. It doesn't appear to start that. It really is the app copy time. If this isn't up the very first time, yeah, we pay for starting the whole simulator. But John's approach did seem noticeably faster. I couldn't tell if it's always faster, but it seemed to be running about 5, 6, 7 seconds, as opposed to I mean, sometimes it's taken 20 or even 30. I think probably when it had to start the simulator from scratch, but still, it does seem a little faster. Now, the second thing we tried is somebody in the article that figured out how to do that, doing this trick that John basically published, a variant on it anyway. But the first reply was like, hey, I did it with a framework. And so we did some modifications to make our model classes make sure they didn't have any Swift UI stuff in them. And then we pulled them into a separate framework file called Fiume-model. And we're trying to get things compiling, but I don't know. It seems like something's not taking. Like this, see, it brings it up and then it fixes it. I don't know. Okay, let's go to this one. This one, we've noticed several times in the previews, it's complaining missing argument from. Well, I know from is because it's a decodable, but let's get plans. Make sure my initializer is public. Well, my class is public, so I assume my initializer is public. So I'm not sure what the problem is there. This one should not have this problem once this model is referenced, so we're not seeing that. I don't know. Part of my problem is I get impatient. How people with bigger are doing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, John and I are definitely on the freaky unit testing end of things in the Swift world, I think. Most people are not doing that depth of unit tests. And if you're doing UI tests, well, those have to have the UI, and you're going to have the slow stuff anyway. It may be that enough people have found the trick John identified, and that they're using that and getting enough speed up. I mean, I can tolerate 5 seconds. It's like, I should just spend the money on the new M3 or whatever the latest is now, and get some of that back. But I don't know. I'm leaning that this is not going in a good direction. Some classes are finding the model fine, and yet others are not. So that's a little weird. It's funny. It knew to ask for. Do you have the right import? And we added the import, and it's still complaining. So, I'm kind of gonna say we are. Well, I'll try and fix that. Implicit return. Well, that's one. It's going to go away in a minute anyway. Plan.swift. Okay, that's on me. Is that enough to do it? Wow. I probably shouldn't even try and run tests at this point. They're going to have problems too. I should just do a build. All in on Ruby. Okay. Ruby's a nice little language. I can't tell if it's growing or not growing. I mean, it seemed to get a little boost a little while ago. And yeah, Ruby on Rails, for certain kinds of apps, you plug in with that stuff and everything just works. Not like I found Swift Data last a couple weeks ago. Yeah, Ruby's good. I'm kind of surprised with Python myself. It seems like lots of places are finding more and more reasons to love it. I watched an interview with Chris Latner. I don't know. I think it's relatively new. He created basically implemented. Well, he did LLVM, or at least a big part of it, and then started on to he's on Mojo now, and he was big on. He basically pulled together, invented Swift, but Mojo's basically sort of a Python extension. Stop caring about the job market, just in on Ruby on Rails. Well, and React. Okay. Well, good luck. I mean, it's there's advantages to being focused on one kind of toolkit, and hopefully the right, you and the right people find each other, and 35,000 times faster. Yeah, well, He's compiling to a MLIR as his replacement for LLVM or his extension or his something, and I don't know, Python I think is mostly interpreted. I'm not sure if they've got some compiler stuff going. I know there was Jython. I don't know if that ever took off. But yeah, when you get into 35,000 times, it's kind of ridiculous. All right, I'm thinking I'm giving up on this approach. Now maybe I should look at this stuff and see what the complaints are, and if it may be okay. Build failed. Yes, we know that. It's got a lot of stuff working. Property ID. Okay. Now possibilities network. Oh, that's on me. Okay. I think he's Mojo to Django. I don't know. Too much like Pascal. Okay. I've got a couple friends who really are into it, really love it, and they've used plenty of languages. They've been around the block. I never quite got into it. I mean, I could whack along enough to program with them telling me what to do if I did it wrong, kind of thing. And I know kind of like, oh, there's these list comprehensions and there's functional stuff, and you can go look for it. But yeah. All right, what is your complaint now? I mean, lots of stuff's green. Just all this red stuff's a problem. Looks like I missed some IDs. Property ID, no. Let me do a clean again. Well, that's kind of... Okay, those are legit. This is... I don't see why I should need that. Okay, let's build again. Oh, now everything else is goofy. Oh, that one's okay. This one's the one that's having the problems. Nope. He still has a problem here. Yeah, I don't think I should need to do that. Let's maybe. Well, he's codable, so they definitely create a constructor for me. Maybe I just need an init one myself. He started to do it. Was changed. Okay. I'm getting better. Okay. Month is internal. Wrapped. Oh, I didn't make those public. It's finding real things. No exact matches to month year with month. Found candidate with month year dot raw value. I don't know how to implement this. And it. Oh. Is that all right? Int to type month with month raw value self equals raw value or default value. Well, that's not going to do it. I don't know. Case iterable. Yeah. Well, I think the real problem is the codable makes it lose its constructor. I don't know if that's gonna. Oh, hey, someone face. It's always nice when you see the exact same problem you have. Okay. Yeah. If you define an enumeration with the raw value type, it automatically receives an initializer that takes the raw value type. The custom initializer was removed. If you define a custom initializer, you'll no longer have access to the default. Write your customized extension. Okay, so I think what they're saying is I got to move. I've got to make this an extension. Really? That's the only one? Now, did I read that right? If you want your custom value type to be initializable with the default and member-wise, and also your own custom ones, write your custom ones in an extension rather than as part of the original implementation. Remove the customized with theirs. Well, it doesn't. Oh, maybe here's what I'm looking for. Okay. Wait, is that the one that was screwed up? Month is screwed up. Now I think it's the month year is the one that's doing it. He's a month. The static method is defined on scenario net worth. Init name. Plans? No, I thought I made that. That should be okay. Now it is, okay. This one is not. Month year with a month and a year number. Month and a year number. Oh, public. Boy, the errors for that. Okay, let's clean and build. Now we I may not be doing the best thing there, but okay. Let's clean everything. Oh. Why are you back? Build succeeded. Okay, now run tests. Those are not going to succeed. Yeah. Woohoo. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I'm not sure it's going to pay for itself, I guess. Fooling around, making all this stuff public and no, oh, it's building. Okay. I think what I should do is put our running thing on the screen with Xcode. Okay. Why don't you know to get Fiume model? Let's check that build structure first. Okay, so Fiume tests. I guess I want to pull in Fiume model, but somehow they should depend on tests, right? Where's that dependency? Choose frameworks, Fiume model. Okay. Now I think they'll complain about the imports, right? Okay. Let's... I think it's testable import. I don't think it's going to matter. I mean, testable gives you access to internals even though you're not internal. Is that right? We can try it if we get this working. But if we're paying for more build time and saving a little test time, it's not a good trade-off. We'll see. Still building. Getting there. Yeah. Okay, I think that may be wrong at this point. I don't know why it put the Fiumes in. Maybe the old name was a little ambiguous. Okay, good. guess they're really in Fiume model now. All right, let me ask that question. Yeah, look at that. It's still running it. Well, maybe. Is it just... No, it's doing it. Well, while it's doing that, and that looks worse than ever. Yeah, 0.244. It was 0.05 something. Let's do it again. Okay, yeah. Unit tests can get access to internal entities. Okay. 0.135. Not really. 5 seconds. Well, we can see it starting the simulator, so there's no benefit to us from all this. That's okay. Let's go over here. Make sure we're in the right place. Okay, get reset hard. I'm not... Yeah, that deleted. Okay. Well, this we did. So this is pools. This is test dev environment. This is alternate main. Okay, and then I would say we attempted this. I guess that's the part that counts. Hey, John. Welcome. We are putting in your suggested alternate main today, and we got that going, and that's fine. I just killed off. We took a different approach. Still ran the simulator. So we found this page. I don't know if it's where you... if you had run across it or not, but they basically came to the same solution you did. So I don't know if it fed into the one you had, but somebody else said, hey, I just put all my stuff in a framework and it never brought up the whole simulator. So I think where we are now, I probably should do a clean build. Clean the test too. And we'll do a build. I just reversed that. So we reverted. I'm disappointed, but that's... I don't know. It seemed to have its own expenses to that. And I don't know why Xcode's not doing its thing here. I have the setting for this, but just wait, it just forgets it sometimes. Did you find anything that worked to not run the simulator, John? I don't know. I don't know if, or are you still working with basically this alternate main? Oh, I gotta clean out? No. What? Using testing. Now, how is that? Okay, that's a legit complaint. I suppose that is. Missing package product testing. Do I have to do some sort of refresh? I don't know where that's even living. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It seemed to give us some overhead of, like, I don't know, maybe it's not overhead. I had to turn a lot of things public that weren't public before, but that may be me over relying on internal. Tweak the test module setup. Well, I know what we pulled out my model classes into a framework and then made Fiume depend on it and made Fiume tests depend on the same framework. So it was doing that much. No host application. I don't know enough to know how to do that. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have reverted. Is that a setting? Or are you saying on the framework? Maybe I repeat that. That doesn't really have anything for that there. Okay. But I guess I should get recovered first before I go too far off the path. No such module testing. Missing package product testing. I don't know what I did. Is that in the schema? Sorry. Are you saying drop all these on it? Funny, it remembers that on the test target. Okay. Host application Fiume. That should be none. Oh. Okay. Yeah, now I don't know what. I mean, I did a git reset hard. You'd think that would leave me with what I had working before. Maybe I've installed this the wrong way. Hmm. Fiume tests, missing package testing. Well, that's not helping. Show in Finder. Now, I'm definitely not seeing anything that looks like the testing package. Oh, what's this? No? Okay. Yeah, okay. Let me quit Xcode. Let's move this off. Oh, can't get it out. Okay. I'll restart Xcode. But I think my git status, it says I have a file deleted. Oh, okay. We just changed that stuff. That's okay. Okay, so I changed this to none. Build failed. Now, why does it even say that? Usually it doesn't even build those tests unless I... I'm getting the impression I may have not installed testing correctly, and I'm not sure if this reference lost its way. Full path was Xcode project. I was like this in the middle. No. Yeah, I'm using the beta on the testing package. That maybe may not be ideal. I did not install a development keychain, but main package.swift. Let's make sure that looks right. That looks like it did. Dependency package URL test Swift testing gate branch main. Yeah. Okay. Test target tests. Dependencies Fiume. Yeah, that looks kind of okay. Oh, do I have to do? What's the package update thing? Usually, that's there. Well, I got a version forward, but pre-release, okay. Let's make sure everybody still knows where that is. He's testing. guess this is the only one that should have it. Target testing macros must be enabled. What are you doing? Indexing, okay. Yeah, I don't know. It strikes me that the package is there and the framework depends on it. I mean, I'll try to delete it and reattach it, but it was something about all the I don't know how stuff we changed on the framework would survive get reset hard. All right, building, at least it's not complaining. No, it's just building. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't know if you're using it in the pre-release, but it has a bad tendency to rebuild all the Swift syntax and Swift testing stuff sometimes. Not once you get going, but periodically we run into it, and then it's just a long build. But thanks for popping in, even if it's a few minutes. Pleasant surprise. And I'm hoping I'm gone this week. After today, maybe the next week or two they'll get the new Xcode out for me, and I can avoid some of this mess. Okay, we're closing in. Indexing. Oh, 61 errors. Swift.string. Wow, it's just going from bad to worse. Well, we'll see if the app runs, because that shouldn't rely on testing. Bye, Mudshark. And bye, John. Okay, so that's working. Okay. All right. Oh, sorry. I reacted to John. I'll get there. Well, now it's not complaining. I don't know if I take this out and rebuild it, it's going to take another 5 minutes. I'll try a test again. Undefined symbol. Fiume date specified at description of Fiume people goes to Swift.string. We know that was defined. I mean, that's like it's not finding... Oh. It doesn't reference Fiume. Wait. Is it this? This is what we had before. Hey, Eric. Oh, let's see. We finished the assets and liabilities should feed into your net worth. That's fine. Then we tried. John Reed had posted a technique. I always want to say trick, but they're techniques. A technique to on startup. Start with a very minimal app that doesn't do any persistence, doesn't have any views and all that stuff instead of the normal app, but it still brings up the simulator and the app. So we're still seeing that. Okay, I don't know, it fixed itself now. Oh no, I did this. Let's turn this off. We took an attempt at pulling out our stuff into a framework and seeing if we could get the framework to run tests without running the simulator. and that did not work. Although I'm not saying it could not work, but I did not get it working, and I just backed that out, and stuff was acting a little weird. We've rebooted and retried things, and I think we're back on track. Okay, so apparently this is my reference to the host application. Right, so why, or I should say where, he's not going to be a framework, and that's Apple, and that's testing. This apparently, John was suggesting turning that off, but it seems to be the only way that tests know about our project. So I think that's, yeah, maybe I can snag John again sometime and we'll try again. But I think that's the piece. Now I'm surprised there's not some, I thought there used to be maybe some other reference that went from your test package, test target to your main one. Oh, now it's doing that again. Is it that? Or maybe I have to trick a new build. Huh. But anyway, I'm off the rest of this week, so I'll be back, what is it, the 22nd. Gosh, we're running out of month here. And out of summer, I guess. All right. Well, assuming this runs, I'll check it in and we'll hopefully be back on track. Okay. So yeah, it appears this is needed to get access. Maybe if we were going back to that testing library thing and turned that off, and he only referenced Fiume model, maybe that would have done it. Well, I don't know if I'm traveling. I'm back late Sunday, so I don't think I'm gonna have any time. But maybe at some point I'll try and make all those functions public again, and as if they were ready to drop into a framework, and we can try again. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd love your. Okay, yeah. It's worth another. It's worth another hour to find out if we can figure out a way. It had a lot of trouble finding things. It may have been that the test in the framework was still running as an iOS app. Yeah, it may be something like that. Something implied you couldn't really do multiple frameworks with iOS, so I can't make a test library that's a framework. But this maybe John's onto something, because I can, if I had it as a framework, like we almost had it. It was Fiume model. If I put Fiume model here and turn this off, maybe the only reason it was running the host thing was because of that, and it might have been okay without it. So I'm not sure it's exciting to watch me add public in front of every identifier for 100 places. So if I get a chance to do that offline, I will. But I won't do the framework thing until I'm back on with you all. But well, it's a good experiment anyway, and if we could figure it out, I think a lot of people would be really happy about that. I'm sure John would anyway, and if he and I are happy, then that's two. You'd be happy if it's three. We're getting there. All right. This, and I think this was just spaces. Yeah. Restore after attempt at running without simulator, running tests. Okay. Okay. So I guess we'll take another try at this. Okay. And then, yeah, maybe we can try again. Um, so we'll give that, an hour ish on a week from Monday. And then we got a little bit of kind of refactoring cleanup stuff. I think I'd like to do those just to kind of get it to a certain state, where what we have is what we have kind of thing. Um, and then move on. I've got a few more. Well, growth and inflation, I know my customer wants. Also, this thing of making overridable values, that seems pretty good. Um, and flows is a big topic. Okay, I'll make its own category. Okay. Um, so this is a design question. Yeah, I mean we're kind of to a certain point with it. I think I think it's worth collecting what we've done so far, cleaning up the minor stuff, and um, before diving into a new thing. All right. Well, I'm not going to start something with 5 minutes left in the week, since this is my virtual Friday or virtual Thursday, depending how you look at it. So thanks for joining in today. And I mean, we got something going. I mean, we definitely improved things for our runtime. So that definitely was worth doing. If we could do this other one and save off another bunch of startup time, especially, that'd be very cool. All right. Well, have a good week and a good weekend, and I will see you in a week. Take care. Bye-bye.